So, the HSCT, that's, I guess, all of the drugs you've been, or many of the drugs you've been on, can have bad side effects too, but HSCT has side effects as well. Some of them even worse than the drugs. There have been people who have even, died from undergoing the treatment. So it's a very serious thing. So, what made you decide that that's something you'd like to do?
The idea of what it does, which is resetting your immune system, which is what is attacking your brain to begin with. That idea sounded like the right thing to do. I mean, that's getting rid of your old immune system that's wrecking your brain and restarting, because I didn't always have MS. That sounded like the only option.
So I should have asked this question earlier, but you were saying that you had some cognitive problems from multiple sclerosis, like trouble thinking.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
I have a lot of trouble remembering things, remembering when things happened, or if things happened, and also putting thoughts together. It's almost like a combination of me being very dizzy and thinking at the same time, so things seem scrambled. So I have a very hard time, doing things in a straight line instead of a wavy line.
Okay. I think I understand.
Not a good explanation, but...
Can you think of like things that you used to be able to do that you can't do or can only do with great difficulty at this point?
Well, I can't run at all or jump.
I was thinking about cognitive things, actually.
Oh, cognitively, it is very hard for me to remember things that I need to do that are important, like bills to be paid that have been paid or haven't been paid. I don't remember if I've done it. Talking to people about getting things done on the house or with our business. I can't remember if I've talked to them or even remember what I'm supposed to be asking people to do.
But I think you told me at one time you used to help keep the books for a small family business.
And I can't do that. Things are so jumbled. Things like adding up numbers is very hard. Things about keeping track of receipts or anything, it's just very hard. It's like everything, like I said, it's like everything's scrambled.
Okay. So it sounds like you thought that the problems with MS were, severe enough that it was worth taking a risk with HSCT.
Yeah, because quite honestly, I don't see it as a risk. I see continuing on this pathway as just a pathway to defeat and demise. I don't see any positive pathway if I don't do something to stop what's happening, and I'm very much hoping to gain back some of the things that I've lost.
That doesn't happen for everybody. It doesn't even happen for most people.
I do.
What sort of things do you hope you'll get back?
Being able to function as a normal human, which, just being able to walk normally, being able to have the energy to do anything normal, being able to think and have a coherent conversation with someone, and not be concerned, because now I get nervous even talking to people, because I get nervous about if I can talk coherently and remember words. And
Well, you're doing really good here.
well, I've been eating really well, and I've been with my absolutely amazing, wonderful husband for the last 48 hours continuously, which always helps me. And I'm very positive about what I'm doing. I finally feel like I'm doing something that is going to do something.
So what did your doctors in the U.S. think about you coming here? Don't say anybody's name.
Okay. My neurologist initially said, he thought this would be a good thing to look into and to try. And then I did my series of MRIs that I need to get done before I start this treatment.
Actually, I'm going to back you up just a little bit. So you said he told you should think about looking into it, and then what did you do to look into it?
I researched it. I had researched who was doing it, where I would be able to get this done, how the people who had this procedure done, what effect they had, because that's actually really the most important thing to me, is actually not only hearing from the people who had the treatment, but visually seeing the change in these people.
So you live in the United States, right? So why did you come to Mexico to get it done?
Because in the United States, they are only in the testing stage. And to get into the test, to try the treatment, you have to fit certain protocols, and I don't fit them. And because of that,
what protocol is the biggest problem for you?
I have to have enhanced lesions on my MRI. And
It sounds like your disease has progressed. I mean, at one time you just had an eye problem, and then you had a dizziness problem, and now you have trouble walking and with your balance and cognitive problems. So it seems like you must have had active lesions on your MRI scan, did you?
And I've never had active lesions, ever.
I see.
Which, that would mean, to me, that shows you don't have to have an active lesion to have a problem, because obviously to go from being a normal human, being able to walk and do everything without even thinking about it, to not being able to walk, quite a big difference.
Yeah. So, and then I understand, just right before you came here, you got a phone call from your neurologist, and he had sort of had a change of opinion about what might be best for you. So tell me about that.
Yes, he had a complete change of opinion. He went from, thinking it's something I should look into, to, oh, you can't go, you shouldn't go. The test results show you have no changes in your MRI, and, we can visit it again in 6 months to a year. I really, after hearing that from him, I was upset that he felt that way, but I felt like I've never had an active lesion. My disease has progressed extremely quickly in the last 2 years, and I'm going to do something about it while I still can.
And then I think, as I recall, so one concern about his was the active lesion, and I think there was another concern too.
Yeah, the rituximab treatment that I had was about 1.5 years ago, and it knocked out my CD19 and CD20 cells.
And don't those normally recover?
They normally recover, or supposedly normally recover in people within 6 months to a year. And that was his other concern, is because they hadn't, and I had the treatment 1.5 years ago, he thought it just wasn't the right time to do it. And I actually, luckily, have a husband who's a doctor, and looked at different studies that had been done and saw that there are actually people who get rituximab and they don't recover for 3 to 4 years after having it.
Yeah, so that happens. But I think, in defense of your neurologist, who you actually like a lot.
Oh, I do. I'm not. I don't think anything badly about my neurologist. I know he only wants the best for me and is trying to have me do the thing he feels is best, and thinks it's a risky thing. So he's concerned about that. But I just feel like...
So it sounds like your doctor had two concerns. One was he thought that because you have no active lesions on your MRI scan, that this treatment wouldn't benefit you much. And I think a second concern of his was that because you are still relatively immunosuppressed from the rituximab, that you could be, at increased risk of undergoing this treatment, which clearly is going to further reduce your immune system, at least temporarily, that it could be more dangerous for you to do it. So, as I recall, you spoke with some other doctors, your primary care doctor, and also an infectious disease specialist, about the immunosuppression.
Yes.
And what did they think about you having a low immunoglobulins, which is one of the problems caused by the rituximab?
And they both thought that my IgG levels, yes, they were low, but they weren't extremely low. And who knows if they're going to get better? We have no idea. And while we're waiting for that to get better, and if my disease still progresses and I get worse, what is the reason for waiting for that to recover?
And I guess rituximab is also part of the treatment protocol.
Yes.
At the Mexican facility. So one way or another, your CD19 and 20 cells were going to be suppressed.
Exactly. And I actually, when they first told me, this part of your immune system is still dead, I was happy, because I'm like, well, I really think, I wish they could totally kill my immune system. I know my husband said that's not a good thing, but since that's attacking my brain, I thought, why not totally get rid of it and then get a new immune system back?
That's sort of an emotional statement. You have to have an immune system, right? Without an immune system, you wouldn't survive very long at all on this planet.
I do.
And then also, I believe one of his concerns was that because you don't have any active lesions, that you wouldn't benefit from this. I know that most of the many treatment protocols in the United States and around the world require that you have active lesions to be enrolled in a study, and there's probably many reasons for that, but one of the reasons, no doubt, is that if you're going to perform a study, you have to have something to measure, and active lesions are something that can easily be measured. They can be counted on MRI scans, and